Hello everyone, Merlin here. Just wanted to say hello and show you an example of failure. Yes, that's right, failure. It was a good idea, and I want to show you what I went through and my experience with it. And maybe somebody will take it a step further and turn it into something really good. But if not, maybe somebody will learn from my experience. Somebody who had the same idea and decided, you know what, that was a good idea, but here's someone who already tried it, so I don't need to be an Edison and do it 10,000 more times. I'm just going to try something else. Okay, so I started out with a toy that I found at Goodwill for $5. The pads were a lot smaller than this. I decided to make the pads bigger, convert it into a realistic sounding drum set, put in an interface from an old joystick controller. There's the USB plug, very important, USB plug. The snare wasn't very responsive because the software with this gadget only has an on-off switch. It can only be on or off, so if you want to do a snare roll, you couldn't do it well. So I added a second snare. If you needed to do a roll, you'd bounce between the two, and it would do decent. Better than nothing, but not as good as I expected. Now the stand I designed myself. The other feature I added was an upward angle. This is where the problem began. Realistic drums sit on an upward angle for the most part, and this is why the stand has an angle to it. Pretty neat idea, and it looked good on paper, and it does work. Here on the front of the stand is a fancy little hanger that holds the 2 foot pedals. This would be the hi-hat, just a button because I never did find another foot pedal. But here again, this button only does an on and off. There's no variable resistance. It's running off a joystick controller, so it's either on or it's off. And this pedal here was for the bass, and it works quite well. However, once again, it's either on or off. And a little loop I built here to hold that leg that's running up through the middle here. This loop right here is to hold that leg when you fold it up, okay? And my handy little drumstick holder. Let's back up a little. See the drumsticks? Isn't that awesome? Yeah, very high tech. A little cardboard at the bottom, rubber band at the top, pull the drumsticks out and go to town. Anyway, the downside is if you want to use drumsticks on this, you have to hit these really hard because they're an on-off switch. You have to actually hit them almost harder than a real drum, which is a pain. I also noticed problems with the button sticking because with the upward angle, these tend to hang down near the bottom of the groove, see? That caused a problem here. Other problem was elevation. I had to put spacers in some of these to get the pad up in the air so it was kind of level, see, with the other pads. Otherwise, the stick would hit on the other pads as you were trying to hit these top cymbal pads. So, anyway, I just wanted to share all that with you and let you know if you're thinking of trying it, this unit would be a good unit to work with. However, I would suggest using piezos and using maybe an Arduino or something like that for an interface. And if you decide to use it as is with just on-off MIDI, I would just suggest lay it down flat, don't build a fancy stand, maybe add the foot pedals, and keep it real simple, and it'll do okay. It won't do perfect, but it'll do okay. And I want you to remember that Thomas Edison spent a lot of time until the light bulb actually worked. So we'll consider this a light bulb that didn't work quite right. And hopefully in one of my future videos, I'll show you a light bulb that works a little better. Once again, this is Merlin with the Invention Channel. And as I said earlier in one of my statements or somewhere on this website, I don't know, some good, some bad, some happy, some sad. This invention a little sad, but I got a lot of experience out of it, and I'm able to share it with you. Yeah, just want you to know something here. There is a fine line between genius and insanity, and I don't know where that line is. I'm not a genius. Don't think I'm insane, but then again, who knows? Others might think so, but I really don't care what others think. But I hope you enjoyed this little demonstration of failure. But I don't consider it failure. I consider it progress, because I will use the knowledge I gained here on my next video that relates to my drum set. And the new drum set will have piezos, and it will be based on something entirely different. And I'll share with you what I've learned. I'll share with you how I created it. And I'll share with you that I got some of the ideas from someone else and just took it a step further. So anyway, once again, this is Merlin from the Invention Channel. This is one of those inventions that's definitely not the best. It does work. You could even play this thing. You could even play this thing with just your fingers and not use drumsticks. But due to the modifications I made on it, even playing with fingers didn't work well, because sometimes the pads would stick. Say goodnight, Gracie. Who's on first? No, that's a totally different video. Goodbye, all.